guys, welcome to my channel. Happy Friday the 13th. I know some people don't like Friday the 13th. They think it's kind of like cursed or whatever, but I love it. I'm a horror movie fan and everything. So if you like Friday the 13th, then I hope you're having a great day. And if you don't, then I hope no black cats have crossed your path. So today we're going to talk about the Mandela Effect. I know you guys really like Mandela Effect videos. I like them too. Sometimes it's hard to make a lot of them though, because there's so many out there and you don't want to just keep giving the same information that everyone else has already given. So I kind of wait until I find new residual evidence or just a new topic I want to talk about or a different spin before I make another one. So earlier this week, the reason I did not make a video was because I had to get a procedure, unfortunately. So it was just an outpatient procedure, nothing to worry about. But while I was recovering, I was watching Dawson's Creek, and that's where I found this residual evidence. So basically, we're going to be talking about the Sally Field Mandela Effect first. So everyone's probably heard of that one by now. And there's actually really two Mandela effects that have to deal with Sally Field. The first one just being her name. In this reality right now, her name is Sally Field, singular. But many of us remember over the years her name being Sally Fields, plural, with an S. So if I say one and then the other, that's why, because it drives me crazy, because I really think it used to be Fields. But anyway, the much larger Mandela Effect concerns her Oscar speech, her famous Oscar speech. So in the 1984 Oscars, which I believe aired in March of '85, she gave a speech and she said the famous quote, "You like me, you really like me." And everybody over the years, there's been so many parodies of that quote because it was just, she was so into it, so emotional. It was just a great moment in cinema history for someone to give a quote like that during a speech. So I was a little baby in that time of the early 80s, so I was not watching the Oscars. But my mom is a huge fan of hers, and my mom has always told me about that quote since I was little. And as I got older throughout the 90s and everything, that quote would be in so many TV shows, and I would just hear it everywhere. And so I really think that's how the quote was. But no, in this reality, it is something else. And because I really just, it drives me crazy, I'm going to look at it because otherwise I'll say it wrong because I can't even accept that this is the quote. So in this reality, she says, "And I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me." So that's what she said in this reality. Supposedly, that's what it's been this whole time. But luckily, Pacey, character from Dawson's Creek, he agrees with us and thinks it's, "You like me, you really like me." So I was so happy that I found this scene. I just love coming across residual evidence, especially when it's just like by accident. So there's a scene with Pacey and Andy. They're sitting, eating in a little cafe. If you're not that familiar with the show, I'll explain more after the clip and why it's important. But for now, you might want to turn up the sound a little when I play the clip, only because my computer is a nightmare, which is not your problem, but their sound in the clip might be a little lower than the sound of my voice. But so listen to the clip, and towards the end, Pacey will be the one who delivers the line. So let's take a look at that now.
Dawson told you, didn't he? Don't play dumb. When dumb people play dumb, it's very disconcerting. Dawson told you what I told him, and that's why you're acting so weird. Just admit it.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, it's true. I had a brief flash of maybe feeling like I didn't possibly hate you. But it will pass, so there's no need to get a big head or anything.
So you think it'll pass?
It may pass. It most likely will pass. Unless... No, it will definitely pass. In fact, I think it just did. Yep, there it went. It's gone.
You like me. You really like me.
Pacey.
So as you can see, Pacey just delivered the line, "You like me, you really like me." And that's just how many of us remember it over the years. And there's many other examples out there of residual evidence of this quote. This is just one that I haven't seen yet passed around, and it was a favorite show of mine, so it was interesting to me to find that evidence there. So if you're not that familiar with the show, Pacey, who just spoke, and his friend Dawson, the title character, they both work in a video store and are both very familiar with movies. So the writers would not really have them misquote anything that has to do with movies at all. And also Kevin Williamson, the creator of Dawson's Creek, he is obsessed with movies, like really, really obsessed. Like the title character, Dawson, who's addicted to Steven Spielberg, is based on Kevin Williamson's life loosely. So I don't think Kevin Williamson would let anything in cinematic history be wrong in this show, because it was just very important to him growing up. He's actually, if you don't know him for this show, he's famous for writing the movie Scream as well. So I just don't think, knowing what I know about him, because I was a huge fan of the movie Scream as well, I really don't think he would include something inaccurate. So I think that makes him like very credible. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is actually not a new Mandela Effect, but it was one that I was not aware of. And when I found out about it, I just thought it was so cool. So you may or may not, depending on your age, I guess, remember a show called Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's kind of a quirky show, but I really, really liked it. And I actually came across this information. I was watching YouTube videos the other day, and someone had a video, and it basically was like, here's a list of Mandela effects that you think are new, but they're not. They're just like rarely talked about. So I want to give this person credit. They had a kind of a long username, so I wanted to have this here for you guys. So the username of the person who made the original video is the Mandela Effect and Other Phenomenon. So I'm going to put a link in the description box down below. So when you're done with this video, if you want to go check out that channel, I think you'd really enjoy that. So his video was really just saying that these are some that people don't talk about a lot, but they've existed. So in this reality, the show is called Mystery Science Theater 3000, and that's how I've always remembered it as well. So this is a Mandela effect that technically does not affect me, but it does affect other people. So there are some people that remember it as Mystery Science Theater 2000, and then a very, very small percentage that remember it as Mystery Science Theater 4000. Here's the thing though about it being 2000. So the show came out in the late 80s, and I actually mistyped on Facebook the other day that it lasted till 1999. I typed that it lasted till 1996, but it really lasted till 1999. The reason I got it confused was because I forgot it switched networks, and that's how it got the extra seasons. So this show ran until 1999. So having a show that's Mystery Science Theater 2000 really doesn't make sense, because the show is supposed to be set in the future. And if you're in the year 1999, the year 2000 really is not the future. But Mandela effects don't have to make sense, as we know, because many of the spelling ones, the spelling that's in this reality doesn't really make sense, and the old reality is the one that makes sense. So it could really go either way. But I've always remembered it as 3000, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. What do you remember it as? If you don't know the plot, it's a silly plot, but it's basically a guy gets launched into space and has to live in a satellite. And while he's there, being monitored by like these evil people, he creates these like robots, and they're forced to watch the worst movies of all time. And the robots make funny comments as they watch the movies. So if you ever were flipping channels back in the day, like in the 90s, and you saw like a movie playing and like little black like silhouettes, yeah, that's the word, silhouettes, in theater seats making comments at the screen, that's Mystery Science Theater 3000. So let me know in the comments, do you remember it as 3000 or the 2000, the 4000? What do you think? And then while I was doing that research, I found out that Netflix is bringing the show back sometime this year, so I'm excited about it. And from what I could see so far, it is called 3000 in this reboot or whatever it is as well. So the final thing I want to talk about was about logos and the Mandela effects that are logos, and how to figure out what's a Mandela effect and what's just a logo change. Because when skeptics come along, a lot of them like to make fun of the logo ones, saying that like, oh, us people who believe in the Mandela effect, we're all fools because companies change logos all the time. And yes, companies do change logos all the time. But we are not fools, because when companies change logos, there's a record of those logos being changed. So with many of the true Mandela effects, we go back and some people do research and there's no record. So for example, with the Kit Kat, a lot of people remember there once being the dash, and now the dash does not exist. If you do research, it will say that in the 90s and in the 70s, there was no dash. No one can find a history of this dash as far as like research, showing like the company itself. They say that they claim the dash never existed. But then we find like residual evidence, like of t-shirts and stuff that do have the dash. So when a company is claiming, oh no, it's always been this way, it's never ever existed any other way, that's when it's a Mandela effect. So you're just going to be careful with the products, because if we start throwing products on there that are not really Mandela effects, then it just gives the skeptics like more stuff to say. And I get annoyed when the skeptics are cruel. I mean, everyone has a right to question stuff, but not in a cruel way. And I've just seen lately some skeptics being kind of mean, especially to people newly affected by the Mandela effect. So there is a product that is wrongly on the Mandela effect list. I hope you can see this logo. Please move the camera if they cannot. So Mountain Dew recently became MTN Dew on the bottle, but that is, and somehow that got on the list of Mandela effects. But I did my research and I very easily found that that is actually not a Mandela effect. All the way back to 2009, Mountain Dew had like these contests for different flavors, and when those flavors actually came out, the winners of the contest, they started putting the MTN on those flavors at that time in 2009. It's just that not a lot of people drank those flavors, and some stores didn't even carry those flavors in different regions, so not a lot of people were familiar with it. It was only very recently that they decided to put this MTN logo on this regular Mountain Dew, and that's when everyone suddenly started noticing it all at once. They're not even sure if it's going to be their like new logo or anything for as like a permanent logo. It's just something they're kind of testing out right now. I don't really know why they're testing it out. Part of me is thinking because Mountain Dew is a long word, and with social media and everything, MTN is much shorter. So I don't know what they're doing with that, but it's a purposeful change that the company Mountain Dew has done. It's not a Mandela effect. So I was just trying to show you guys an example of the difference. I hope I haven't offended anyone. That's not my intention. I just want to show the difference. And there's probably Mandela effects that I've made mistakes on. You know, we're all human and there's totally nothing wrong with that. I just want to help you guys know how to do that and to keep the skeptics away so they have nothing to say and they don't bother you, because I care about everyone. So those were the three I had for you today. Maybe there's some new products that you know about. You can let me know about that in the comments. So just let me know what you guys thought about any of these, or if you guys know of any new Mandela effects. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are great, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.